Hello, my name is Hope. I'm going to be here today to talk to you. We're going to go through some activities, ask you some questions. So I just thought we'd start off just welcoming you in. And your name's Tanisha, right?
Yeah.
How are you today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking. So, validation is what we're going to be talking about today. So, what do you know about validation? Or when someone validates you, how do you feel?
I feel special. Like I feel good inside. Like I feel important.
Mm-hmm. So, what kind of things make you feel validated? Give me some examples.
When someone is to text me, just randomly asking how I am or something really nice. When people listen to when I talk, that's a big one because normally when I'm talking, people just tune out and it makes me really sad. So when people actually listen to my story, that makes me feel validated as well.
Yeah. I feel validated when people listen to me as well. Yeah, for sure. So, why do you think it's so important to validate ourselves and to receive validation?
I think it's important because it makes you feel good. Like it makes you feel important. So it's good to know like that you are important and it makes you feel like you're worthy.
Mm-hmm. For sure, for sure. So, what kind of things do you do to validate others?
I always try and give like 110% when I'm in a conversation or like a relationship, like friendship or anything. I always try and give my all to make them feel special and important. I make sure to check up on them and make sure they're doing okay. And if they're not, I always make sure to try my best to make them feel okay.
For sure. So, when you do things like text people first or make sure they're feeling okay, then they feel validation, and in return, they'll often do the same things for you, which gives you validation as well.
Yeah.
Right. So, are there times where you think that you should validate people, and do you think there's times that you shouldn't?
To an extent, yeah. Like I feel like everyone deserves to be validated, but like I believe that if they are bringing you more down, you shouldn't be wasting your time validating them if they're making you feel worse. Like I think that just like brings yourself down if you're just not wasting, but putting your time and energy in someone who makes you feel worse.
For sure, for sure. So, what kind of things would indicate that maybe someone shouldn't be validated? Are there certain like actions or things someone may say where you wouldn't want to validate them in those like thoughts or actions that they're taking?
I think just generally like being overall rude, like bullying in a sense, or calling name calling, or just constantly bringing you down to the point where it's unhealthy for you to be validating them.
Mm-hmm. For sure, that makes a lot of sense. That's exactly it. So when people are doing things that may even be harming themselves or harming others, or maybe not just showing them in the right light, you may not want to validate them in those things, right?
Yeah.
Exactly it. So when you're in a difficult situation and you have people to rely on, who are those people who validates you in those situations?
My boyfriend, my best friend, my nieces, and my sisters.
Mm-hmm. What kind of things specifically does your boyfriend do to validate you?
He always listens to me when I'm upset, or I want to just tell him like a story about how good my day was. He always like asks me about it, and he'll always do things like without asking. So say if I'm having a hard day, he might give me a back massage or play a movie or run a bath for me. And if we're having a good day, like he'll maybe take me out or we'll just do something together to enjoy quality time.
That's nice. And those are types of things that make you feel validated,
Yeah.
make you feel better. And have you ever felt invalidated before?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. A lot.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling, eh?
No.
So, what does invalidation feel like to you?
I feel just putting them down, like not making them feel like they're worthless. Yeah.
Yeah. So, are those the feelings you feel when you're invalidated?
Yeah.
Yeah. And why do you think it's so hurtful? Why do you think it feels that way?
Because validation's just showing someone, like I like to think it's just showing someone how much you care about them and like that they're worth putting like energy in or stuff. So when you feel like invalidation, especially from like people you care about, I feel it hurts because they're not showing you that they care.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And it sucks when people don't show you that
Yeah.
they care for you. So how has invalidation impacted you? What are some small examples, if you feel like sharing, about when it's impacted you specifically?
Like the situation or my feelings behind it.
The situation, and explore the feelings that you had behind it as well.
So, one time I went to my parents' house and I cleaned their whole house because they were gone on vacation and I wanted to surprise them when they got home. And when they got home, we ended up getting in an argument and they were really ungrateful and they just were criticizing like the wrongs instead of being thankful for their rights. And we just got in an argument after that, so it just made me feel sad because like I wanted to do this whole thing for them and surprise them, but they didn't even care or appreciate anything like even the idea behind it.
Yeah, and you would have assumed if you were to clean the house when they got home and saw it that they would be happy and they would appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it didn't end up being that way, right?
No.
And how has that impacted you? Do you believe like invalidation impacts you a lot? Like, do you feel that?
I mean, yeah, like I think it like impacts a lot, like especially self-esteem and things because like when you get invalidated for so long, you tend to just your self-esteem tends to go down too because you don't feel like you deserve validation. So you just invalidate yourself in a sense.
So maybe one thing you could do is start doing some small things that make you feel validated for yourself as well. Like you're explaining how your boyfriend will run you a bath when you're having a bad day. And maybe if he's not home, run it for yourself because you deserve to validate yourself as well, right?
Yeah.
Small things like that. So what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to take this blank paper and I want you to write down an example of a behavior that you once had. Where it was, what happened, and what it looked like. So an example, you were at home and you threw away your journal. Something that impacted you, just a behavior.
So do you want me to draw it or write it?
Write it.
Okay.
Okay, what did you write?
I talked about how once I threw my drawing book in the fire because I was sad and the drawing I was doing just didn't go to plan, so I was frustrated and I lit my book on fire.
So, okay, next what I want you to do is, based on that situation, I want you to write down all the reasons why you may have behaved that way. You briefly talked about them. You were frustrated and you didn't like the drawings. Just go into a little detail about how you were feeling. Okay, what kind of things have you written there?
So I just kept writing my feelings on thinking back. So like I was frustrated, like I said. I was sad and overwhelmed. I was also exhausted and like mad, and I just felt so much hate and like anxious feelings.
Mm-hmm. So, because you had those feelings, you made the decision to burn your drawings,
Yeah.
which in turn, then you didn't have the drawings. And did it make you feel better when you did that? Or
No, it made me feel sad because all my other drawings I liked and I burnt them.
Mm-hmm. So maybe in those moments you could take a second and allow yourself to feel validated. Do one of those things that you mentioned that makes you feel validated in order to really understand what you're feeling, and then you won't end up with consequences where you're, losing all your drawings or other behaviors like that. So what kind of things could you do to help make yourself and others feel more validated?
For myself, I think I can do some things like you said, like running a bath or just focusing on myself and what makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
And for others, like if I know that I'm doing things that I know that make them happy, but if I don't, like even just anything little, like complimenting their outfit or hair that day, or telling them that I hope that they have a great day, or opening the door for someone, paying for the person behind me.
Mm-hmm. Small things like that. Those are all really good options, and all will help yourself feel validated, and in turn you'll be able to validate more people around you and help the ones you love feel validated as well.
Yeah.
So for next week, what I want you to do is have 3 examples of times you validated yourself over the next week, and 3 times you validated someone else over the next week. And I want you to come back and have those share with me. You can write them down somewhere if you'd like so you remember them, or just share them with me for next week just so we can recover and really focus on validation and making sure you and the ones you love feel validated.
Okay.
Sounds good. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.